Hello and welcome. This is Gabriel, custodian of Watchman Privacy, privacy practitioner, consultant, author, and frontline fighter in the push for privacy. I know why you're here. Like the rest of us here in the resistance, you're trying to escape the technocratic apparatuses that you see enveloping you and crushing your freedoms. That's why I created all of this, all without sponsors. I hope you enjoy this show, but then when you're ready to take the next steps to secure your privacy and your future, visit my website, escapethetechnocracy.com, to start the real journey. Your support alone determines the future of the show. See you there. Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased today to be joined by Alejandra Guajardo Sada, otherwise known as Miss Bitcoin. And Alejandra was the winner of Miss Universe El Salvador in 2022. She came to prominence in the Bitcoin community after wearing a Bitcoin costume during one of these events, and she has become a cornerstone of the Bitcoin community. And she'll also be talking today about her brand, her healthy cosmetic brand called Sada Organics. So we're going to discuss some of these things, her background, etc. So Alejandra, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, Gabriel. Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I am very good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for asking. So let's start with a little bit of your origin. People will know you from your time doing the Miss Universe events, wearing this Bitcoin costume. Talk a little bit about your background doing that. What was that like? And how did that get you into some of these communities that you are in today? Just give a little bit of your backstory about all of that.
I decided to wear the Bitcoin dress because my country made Bitcoin as legal tender in 2021 and I won in 2022, and I wanted to bring something different and new at Miss Universe, not always like in previous years that they do the national flower or one of our volcanoes. I wanted to show something that was never seen before at Miss Universe. So I wanted to share the message of Bitcoin with the world because I believe in financial freedom and it should belong to everyone, not just a privileged few. So that's why I decided to wear the Bitcoin dress. And since I was a little girl, I will watch Miss Universe. And I said like, wow, I want to be there one day. And I saw it like kind of impossible, to be honest. And my mom, when she was little, she was in pageants too, but she never won like a big one like I did. Also because back on those days, you were not allowed to be married or have kids and compete at a pageant. So nowadays you can. And I started to be in pageants when I was 19 years old. And it wasn't because of my mom told me or something. Actually, she never told me to join. It was something that was born in me, something that I really wanted. Also, they say, maybe it is true, that when you are in your mom's womb, you kind of, whatever she's doing at the moment, she kind of influence it. So she was modeling before having me, and she was in pageants right before having me. So maybe that's why I kind of like modeling and pageants. When she had my sister, she was studying to be a chef, and my sister, she's great at cooking. So I think that has something to do with it. And then I started when I was 19 years old in Texas. It was my first pageant. It was my first time modeling, my first time being on heels, my first time doing my own makeup, because usually I never wear makeup. I don't like makeup at all. I don't like a lot to wear heels, but it was something new for me. It was something I like to try new things. I like to compete, and also pageants gives you a good platform to give a message, to be inspirational to other kids if you have a project, right, that you feel it's big enough to maybe change someone's life, right? So I I also did it because of that, because I felt that my project and my message was strong enough to to spread across the globe and teach other girls to do it. I will talk about my project later. So my career in pageants was very long, actually, and not a lot of people knows about this. But it's not like I won at Miss Universe El Salvador for the first time and then I went. No, it took me actually 8 years of my life since 19. I was in 10 pageants in total. I was in one pageant every single year until 2022. So yeah, it took me 8 years to be at Miss Universe, because every time that I will compete, so once a year, I will never win. I will be second runner up, third runner up. And for any reason, sometimes it was rigged, sometimes something was missing in my how I performed. There was something that was on my way, but I was so close every time of winning that's why I never gave up. Even though a lot of people were really close to me, they were like, well, you already competed 8 times, 7 times. Like, why are you still competing? Just do business, do what you're good at. Like, clearly you're not good at this because you're not winning. But I was very perseverant and I believed in me, even though people didn't believe in me. And I just knew I could win because of who I am, because of the message and the project that I had to give to this platform. Because when you are in pageants, people look at you more and listen to you more. So if you have something important to say, people will definitely listen and do it. So I finally, when I was at the stage to win Miss Universe El Salvador, I remember I was like, okay, if I don't win, I'm just a stubborn girl that didn't listen to the people around her to stop doing this because it was a waste of time or whatever, because it is a lot of energy and a lot of preparation, and also it costs money. Like, pageants cost a lot of money. You need to buy a lot of things, and yeah, you need to always be good in everything, no? Like, beauty costs. Beauty definitely has a cost. And also I was working and in university at the same time. I was always doing the 3 things at the same time: university, working, and pageants. But at the end, that gave me a lot of confidence about myself. And well, when I was at the stage, I was like, okay, if I don't win, I'm a stubborn, and if I win, this was definitely for me. And then when I won, I was like, wow, definitely when you want something in life, life will give it to you if you work for it, right? So I didn't give up on the 3rd, 4th, 5th time. I definitely learned that when you want something, you can get it. You just need to be perseverant, right? And that was a message that I was always giving back then. After Miss Universe, I was going to universities and talk to girls, not only girls, but to kids in general, about not giving up on your dreams like I didn't. No, and the message and the project that I have is how to be self-sufficient in your own food. Because I was doing that with my parents already. Because 12 years ago, my dad, he had pancreatic cancer, and pancreatic cancer is the one that 8 people out of 10 don't survive. It's the most hard of all cancers. When he was in the hospital, the doctor told us that there was a 50 chance that he was not going to survive on the surgery. So it was really tough for us to say goodbye, and maybe he was not going to make it, right? So then he made it, but the doctor said that he was only going to have 1 year of life, because it's super hard to live without a pancreas. And then my dad, he started to grow cannabis. He started to grow all these kind of medicinal plants and started to do all these different medicinal tinctures made of plants and started to take them. And he has been with us 12 years already because we started to grow our own organic fruits, vegetables, and medicinal plants. And I've been doing this, growing my own organic food for all of these 12 years. So that was my main project, my main message, to show people how to be self-sufficient, independent in the most essential things that human beings need, that it's food. Human beings can stop traveling, can stop buying things, but they will never stop eating. So if you are self-sufficient in the most essential things that human beings need, then I can say that you're free, right? So also that's why I wanted to wear the Bitcoin dress, because it meant freedom, and I was already with a message of freedom in my project during all of these pageants. So this is my story of how I started with pageants and my reason of doing it. Because after this, it gave me a platform to really speak about all of these things, go to universities and speak to kids about the importance of this. And then I started to do it with Bitcoin.
Post winning Miss Universe, I'm sure you have various obligations, and obviously you have a big platform. What was that like? And was that when you really got into the Bitcoin community?
After I was in my Bitcoin dress at Miss Universe, I started to get a lot of messages from Bitcoiners like, thank you for representing us. I want to interview you. They started to invite me to conferences and all this kind of stuff, but I didn't really knew much about Bitcoin. So then I started to educate myself more about it, and I saw that it was literally the same as I was doing with food. Decentralization, be self-sufficient, independent in your money. I was doing it with food already, so it made total sense for me to be in Bitcoin, because it was like the missing piece for my puzzle. I was doing it with food, now I'm doing it with money. So I started to give education about Bitcoin in public schools in El Salvador, because there was not at that time any education about Bitcoin. They just put Bitcoin as legal tender, but they didn't explain what it is, how it works, why is it important. So that was something that I was doing in 2022, 2023. And then I started to go to conferences about Bitcoin, speak about what I was doing with Bitcoin in El Salvador, my story of being decentralized with food. And I honestly loved the atmosphere and the Bitcoin conferences. I started to it is so authentic. Well, that's how I felt about it. So I was like, wow, this is definitely where I want to be, and with open-minded people like me. So that's why I started to be, of course, more in Bitcoin. It made sense for me to be decentralized in money. And that's how I started to be in this amazing community, and also with like-minded people.
I'm sure that was really interesting to be in El Salvador in 2022, 2023, 2024, around there. Lots of interesting things happening, lots of interesting people going to that country to turn it into what it became. What are your reflections on that time, that period of time?
Well, there is a lot of talented people in El Salvador, and especially, actually, I want to recognize the Bitcoin office, Stacy and Max. They have done an extraordinary job advancing Bitcoin in El Salvador. And now they're doing an amazing conference in November that it's in one of my favorite places in El Salvador, in the National Palace. That palace, wow, it's definitely one of my favorite palaces around the world. It's vintage, it's so beautiful. And it's a great conference. I went last year and it's very proper. That's the word. To be honest, it's incredibly energizing to be surrounded by passionate Bitcoiners from around the world who come to El Salvador every year. And places like Bitcoin Beach show what's possible when a community rallies around an idea that empowers people through Bitcoin.
Yeah, when I was in El Salvador earlier this year, I also noticed a lot of that energy for sure. Now, on the topic of other places, other countries, I noticed that, and I know that you like to travel around quite a lot. In fact, this summer you were in many different countries just in Europe. That seems to be a big part of who you are, a traveler. Before we get into some of your latest stuff with Sada Organics, talk a little bit about your travels. I think you've been to, you said 60 countries, which is much more than most people. Yeah, just talk a little bit about your travels, why you like doing it, where you've been, maybe some of your interesting experiences.
I would say that one of my favorite things in life is definitely traveling. Since I was little, I was very curious about what was out there. And I wanted to visit every single country around the world. Well, that's my goal, to be honest. So yeah, I feel like in 60, 65 countries, something like that. And when I was 20 years old, I did my first long trip that I was in Europe for 3 months. I visit almost all Europe and two countries in Africa. And after that, I was like, wow, I just want to do this as often as I can, as much as I can. And traveling makes me, it definitely gives you a different perspective of life. For me, it changed my way of thinking and not have like attachments and not to believe in one single truth, because I think there's a lot of truths, or that's what traveling gave me. One of my favorite countries is Egypt because I love Egyptian culture, even though people that live there are not Egyptian, right? They're Arabs, so Egyptians, maybe they're extinct by now. But I love the pyramids. I love the Egyptian temples. It's super, super interesting to me, that culture. Also Jordan, I loved Petra and all of the temples and history that they have. Definitely my favorite countries are the ones that are more old and have a strong culture, like Greece, Turkey too. I recently went to Peru for 1 month and it was incredible to see also all of these temples, ruins, Machu Picchu, like how they were constructing these magnificent things back in the days, like these huge stones. How would they carry all of that? And yeah, they were so smart. They had all of these different, what can I say, technology or knowledge about food, about architecture, um, about astrology. In Abu Simbel, in the south of Egypt, in the solstice in March, the sun goes directly into the face of the king Ramses. So how can they construct these exact things?
It's definitely, I mean, the aliens is the answer to your question.
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe in that too. But it only happens in two days out of the year, the 22 of February and the 22 of October. And also, for example, in Chichen Itza, in the Mayan pyramid, also in the solstice, there's like a snake going down, like, well, it looks like that with the shadow, right? Like a snake going down of the stairs of Chichen Itza. So like all of these different, like, incredible things that it's like, wow, how can they measure and figure exact things? It fascinates me. And yeah, I was these past 3 months in Europe. I went to Slovakia to visit one of my Miss Universe friends from Slovakia. Miss Universe Slovakia. It was super fun. I went to Nice, the French Riviera. It was beautiful. I went to Ireland and I visited a lot of cities in Ireland. I love castles and I went to see a lot of castles, and now I'm into golf, and that's the mecca of golf. So it was cool to be there and go to see the golf courses and play. And I went to Madrid, Frankfurt, Berlin, Heidelberg, that it's one of the most beautiful towns in Germany. Yeah, I enjoy traveling, and I every time I travel, I learn about the country. I make sure to get to know the culture, the food, their traditions as much as I can. And yeah, I love to diversify.
Another thing I know you're interested in is educating people, and you have this bookshelf project for Bitcoin. Can you tell people about, I'm aware that you're doing another bookshelf. What's that all about, and how can people contribute?
I love to spread the word about Bitcoin, and I think education, it's the foundation for financial freedom, and understanding Bitcoin helps people make informed decisions about money, technology, and their future of finance. Through education, we empower individuals to think critically, protect their wealth, and confidently participate in the digital economy. So that was my main reason to make Bitcoin bookshelves all around the world. And I put the first one in the National Library of El Salvador. And now I have the second one ready that I will put in Mexico. And actually, I'm looking for donations of books just to fill that bookshelf now. And my next Bitcoin bookshelf I wanted to put in is in USA, Argentina, Spain, and well, at the end, in every single country. So everyone can have free access and just grab a book, read about Bitcoin, educate themselves, and have the best money of the world. Yeah, and you can find more information on X, as we are as Bitcoin Bookshelf, and the webpage is also bitcoinbookshelf.com. Or you can just send me a message if you want to donate books or put one in your country, city.
Let's talk now about your latest interest, which is Sada Organics, and that website is sadaorganics.com. For full disclosure, I have helped out some with this, and if you buy products, it could potentially reach me monetarily, just for full disclosure. Just tell us a little bit about Sada Organics. I think specifically you're selling tallow-based lotions, and not just what it is, but why you decided to create it, especially having been exposed, as you were saying, to a lot of the harsh makeup. So what inspired you, first of all, to start making these tallow-based skincare and other stuff that you sell on that website?
I started this brand for different reasons. The first one is that when I was at Miss Universe, I will use a lot of makeup and a lot of skincare products to recover my skin from all of the makeup. But at the end, I was using way more chemicals every single day in my skin. The skin is the largest organ that absorbs every single thing that you put on it. And I was not feeling very well. I didn't like my skin at all. It was not healthy. And then my parents have a business of natural products that they grow in their ranch where they live. Everything is 100% organic, no chemicals. They grow their plants with no pesticides, no chemicals. And well, I've been working with them for all of these years, and that's how initially I learned to lean into what Mother Earth gives us, because Mother Earth gives us everything that we need. We don't need to look for it in the chemicals that now the system leads us. That was the second reason. And I wanted to start my own brand, separate from my parents, and do it my own style. And what triggered it was I had a car accident this past January that I opened my eyelid. I had 7 stitches. I didn't know how I was going to heal. I thought my eye was going to be completely ruined. I was very worried. So I decided to just heal with natural products. And the only thing that I put on my eyelid was beef tallow. And now you can barely see anything. My eye is perfect. It was like it was before. No scar, nothing. And it was all thanks to the beef tallow. So after that, I decided immediately to start my brand of natural skincare.
Okay, so that explains what Sada Organics is about. Talk a little bit about beef tallow. Why is beef tallow a central ingredient to especially your skincare products?
Beef tallow is a traditional natural fat rendered from cattle. And for centuries, it has been used in skincare because it is rich in skin supporting fatty acids and fat soluble vitamins. Beef tallow has a lot of benefits. It's rich in vitamins A, D, E, and K. Contains fatty acids such as oleic acid, palmitic acid, stearic acid. Helps moisturize, supports the skin natural moisture barrier. Helps for fine lines. Helps for acne, eczema, scars. It's suitable for many people with sensitive skin, well, basically any type of skin, because the beef tallow adapts perfectly to what your skin needs. It's only basically 3 ingredients. Beef tallow, cacao butter, and jojoba oil. Those 3 ingredients are 100% natural. I also cook with beef tallow, so you should be able to put something on your skin that you can eat, because at the end, your body absorbs everything. And nowadays, all of the skincare that they sell, it's full of chemicals that we do not know. We don't even know how to pronounce them. And that is why there is a lot of hormone and endocrine disruptors because of all of these chemicals that we put every single day on our skin. They interfere with our hormones, are mainly women. Nowadays, it's harder to have kids, or it disrupts also our menstruation. Hormones regulate growth, reproduction, metabolism, mood, sleep, that it's super important to have a healthy body, and definitely all of these chemicals that we're putting every single day are disrupting all of this.
Yeah, so that website is sadaorganics.com. And the main thing is that you sell a skincare lotion that has like 3 ingredients. I actually used that. I replaced my own lotion that I use with that particular lotion. And my old lotion, which I also got at these so-called health stores, had like 20 ingredients in it. And when you use something tallow based, you realize that you really only need maybe 1 ingredient or 2 or 3. So I've actually used this stuff and it does work and has completely adequately replaced what I was previously using. So this all checks out. This all makes sense. I think the audience is well aware of a lot of the craziness that happens in the pharmaceutical industry and the makeup industry and all these sorts of things that we don't want to be putting on or in our body. And you also, on Sada Organics, sell a tea. Talk about this tea that you sell. You just had me drink it a few minutes ago. I'm sure it's healthy. I'm sure it's healthy. It tasted very healthy.
My parents have this product too. And I take it every day actually, and I love it. It's curcumin from turmeric, ginger, and black pepper. This combination is for inflammation, for better digestion, and overall wellness. And it gives you also energy. And it's natural ibuprofen. The turmeric, for example, me, sometimes when I have cramps for my menstruation, that helps me. Instead of taking chemicals, ibuprofen, I take this shot of turmeric, ginger, and black pepper, and it takes the pain away. Also, if you have headache, it helps. So it's natural ibuprofen, basically. It's antioxidant. It helps for joints, for the heart health, and curcumin also is being studied for the effects on brain inflammation and cognitive health. So these 3 powerful ingredients is very good to take in the morning, like I said, for inflammatory, energy boosts, and also helps for your digestion. So how I take it is just 1 spoon every morning. I take it only with water. It's a little bit strong, but I'm so used to it that I don't care. But people can take it with orange juice and put a little bit of honey, and it tastes great. So this is going to be my detox. I put it the name of detox because it also helps you clean your organism, your gut, and it's great in the morning before taking any food.
Yeah, I think people interested in health understand ginger, curcumin, black pepper. These are healthy things. I never thought to take it in a shot like that, but it makes sense. Maybe I'll mix it with some juice next time instead of water. But yeah, no, this all checks out. Oh, and for the listeners out there, you practice what you preach, so you accept Bitcoin on your shop. So for people who don't want to use the dirty fiat and who wants to pay with Bitcoin, you can certainly do that. You're supporting a pillar of the Bitcoin community. What would you say as some final thoughts, Alejandra, about your products? Who are they for? What are people getting when they buy your stuff?
Definitely for people that want to improve their health overall. Because like I said, all of these products that they sell everywhere, these fiat products that have more than 50 chemicals that we don't know what we're putting in our skin, that it's absorbing every single thing that we're putting. And that's why there's so many diseases nowadays, because that's how they want to keep us. right? The system wants to keep us sick. They want us to consume all of these fiat products. So yeah, they should go and buy Sada beef tallow that has 3 ingredients that are 100% natural and that you can even eat, and you will be perfectly fine. And for my new product, well, it's not new for me, but it's new in the store, that it's the detox. Curcumin is known for the best antioxidant of the spices in the world. So yeah, if you want to have a healthy, glowy skin, feel good, not feel tired, not have any hormonal disease, yeah, you should put beef tallow. And also, and support the best money of the world, that is Bitcoin, yeah, you should buy the best product with the best type of money. And also, if you pay with Bitcoin, you will have 10% off. So go buy your beef tallow detox at sadaorganics.com. SADA organics.com. And we are on Instagram as Sada_organics, and also on X as Sada Organics.
Hey, thanks for listening. I could really use your help real quick. If you could share this episode with someone, engage with me, leave a review anywhere. This helps me to break the technocratic shadow banning that is happening with my brand. And of course, if you really want to escape the technocracy, go to escapethetechnocracy.com. Privacy tutorial series, books, newsletters, consulting, and of course, you can leave a donation. Thank you very much.